We have power.
We have power.
Main
And
screen
now that we
turn
have
on.
power, I got to talk to you about something, Wooly. It's of vital importance. It's really important. Have you noticed how big Clive's tits are?
They big. Yeah, especially once you see them exposed. They big.
Like,
Thickies.
I'm going through the game, and like, Jill and Clive are standing next to her. They're standing, and like, it's this consistent like, Jill, get out of the way! You're blocking Clive.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the, like, outfit that, people have drawn fan art of, where it's
Oh, the
just...
the Dracula outfit that's on the box.
Yeah, maybe I'm just, maybe I have to get there
No,
or
I don't
something,
think
but...
I don't think you have it, but like, he's basically wearing like a push-up bra on that thing.
Yeah, so... I'm waiting to find out about that, but this is all just based on seeing fan art of that shit. So, yeah, no, that game's going. That game's going. Um,
Oh, right, it's a game. I thought it was a big man titty simulator.
yeah, I mean it's I don't know. It's still early enough that I don't really know what to say, but everything's setting itself up. But I do appreciate the moment I was like off the rails for a second, and it was like I'm not gonna get into any spoilers, but just like yeah, I just appreciated this. Like, oh, now you can walk around a larger open map and like go kill a bunch of things that are standing around. Like the second I
Well,
got that, I was like, sweet, now I can really get to like feel the flow of combat, you know?
Well, I have to say it's one of the weirdest games I've ever played due to like in terms of spoilers, because like there are things that the game's premise just like opens to you as like mandatory events. So like I like this past week I fought Bahamut. Is that a spoiler? No, it's mandatory that you had to get to the end of this game and fight Bahamut.
I mean,
Like,
there's
if you did not, that would be an outrageous pile of shit.
well, all I know is the trailer listed off a bunch of icons and dropped their names, and it's like these are the summons that you've known from all the other games, and now they're gonna be Mega Man bosses. So that's all I
like,
know. I have
so
no other expectations.
You did Garuda, right?
I did Garuda.
It's like wildly Mega Man boss esque. Like Clive might as well be reaching towards her and go, "Now I've got your power."
That's exactly the line I said when he did that.
Is it?
Yes. So it's very clear that's what's going on. At which point, at least for me, I was like, well, this is what I came here for. Move aside, Benedicta. We've been looking at Garuda the whole time. That's where the hotness is. That's what I'm trying to get that number, you know?
Wooly,
So
I have run into like the strangest, like, I don't know, Ludo narrative issue in FF14 where like the drama is happening and the music is happening and oh man, how are we gonna do it? And I'm sitting there going like, I don't care about any of that shit. Get over here so I can fucking get your move list.
yeah, I mean, it's particularly interesting. Okay, so I guess I'm going to chapter 1 and chapter 2 spoilers, right? Beginning of the arc to getting Garuda.
Couple weeks out, the Garuda bits. I mean, the demo leads into that stuff.
Yeah. I know that like most people playing it at home right now are a million years ahead of where I am, but there are people who are like, I haven't even started yet because I don't want to hear anything or see anything. I'm waiting till I get my own copy. So to give those people the thing, I'm going to talk about what happens around getting Garuda and that stuff. All right, there you go. There's your space. So it was quite interesting because like as you're going through the game, like you kind of get, Benedicta as like this evil bitch, and you're like, oh, but like fucking I mean there's a way more evil piece of shit that's like in the form of Mom hanging out wherever she is, and you're like, ooh, that's just, you're the Cersei Lannister, right? Yeah, exactly. And Benedicta's like a more just like struggling, kind of fucked up case of, you know, trauma, and then you know, being unremorseful to some degree with how she just like wantonly slaughters people and stuff. And then you're like, at the end, you kind of get this moment that's like, oh, are we gonna get like a bit of an anime moment of like the sad swing backstory? And it's like, you kind of do, because you find out at that last second in a way that it's like, oh, she's just in a cycle of trauma and she's been through some horrible shit, and she's kind of seeing that, but none of that excuses the fact that she's a piece of shit regardless. And you're like,
get her.
Yeah, so it's like, oh man, that sucks. Well, anyway, you know, and then you're like, let me get that fucking sweet ass wind snatch, please. Snatch as in the grab move to pull the enemy in towards you. Of course, that's what I'm referring to, a la Devil May Cry terminology. And you know, and then you're like, yeah, I'm excited for my new powers. Sorry about your tragic backstory. Would have been a bit more, or would have been a little less enthusiastic, perhaps, had that been, I don't know, if the balance of judgment of the scales of your, you know, your past to your present actions was weighed more in sympathy, then perhaps I'd feel a little differently, but I don't, because you're still a fucking awful person. So
she's
like
a really consistent early antagonist as well. Like, you're constantly dealing with her over and over in that whole sequence.
And it's interesting too, because it's like, because you have a Cersei Lannister right off camera, she can be this flawed, floundering, kind of fucked up person, and she can be someone who, you know, you get like, oh, this is where Sid came in and what he meant to her. And you can even get the part of it where like, she's completely terrified to exist without Garuda, you know?
Nah, man, this is the fucking juice that I had to not be a poor person that was trodden upon by society.
Exactly, right? That's all you had, and like, you know, you're like, give me that, you know, new phone, who dis, calling her up. So it is an interesting thing to introduce that, and I also, it makes me kind of wonder what other people's view of themselves as dominance is going to be, certainly. Although there's of course the fact that, you know, a couple of us childhood friends are hanging out, but you know, it's and that feels like, okay, that's Benedicta, that's her deal, but don't feel too bad, you know. You got this sick ass new ability, and she kind of deserved it. Also, they just really take the time to underline, like, just in case you really didn't take in how catastrophic Icon fights are. They're the worst thing to happen to this planet
that you fight in. It's
ever.
Just gone by the end of it.
It's absolute Man of Steel level bullshit. And every time I'm like, oh man, this whole fucking continent is gonna get it by the time we get where we're going. Yeah. Each one of these Mega Man boss fights is gonna leave a smoldering fucking country in its wake.
Like both of the areas that you have fought in have left like mile-wide smoking craters remaining of the locations that you were at.
You know, what are you gonna do?
No, actually, all three, because the where Shiva fought Titan, that whole plains area is like a blasted hellscape now.
And then, I mean, and even when I got a glimpse of Dion, right? And it was just a little intro cutscene showing off the what Icon kaiju battles are like on the in war, right? The strategic usage of it for a second, and then back to fucking sipping tea.
Hey, he's bringing it out. Okay, you bring yours out. Okay, bing, bang, boom. And put it away.
All right, okay. Put it away. And like, yeah, best case scenario, it's like light, massive territorial damage in a predetermined battlefield location, and a bunch of soldiers on the side are gonna get wiped out.
Yeah, it's really funny because every time that happens, like a good 20% up of the attacking forces get evaporated, and then they stop, and it's like, okay, well, if we kept the fight going, you guys should all just leave.
No, I need you to stand there and cheer for me as you get excited and hyped that I'm on your side, and then in the wind up to swing at the enemy, the wind up will wipe you out completely behind me.
Yeah, the collateral damage is out of control.
So yeah, that's the overall feeling I'm getting of like, oh boy, we gotta go in and fix the politics and save the world, but oh boy. Yeah.
Did you get much time to fuck around with Garuda's toolset?
Just a little bit. I haven't gone back to the lab on it, but I spent my money upgrading my basic materials and mastering them because I want longer stinger. I want better exceed time. You know. But I have at the very least kind of gotten used to the idea of the cooldown a little bit and switching over, and then there's a couple of times where I'm like, okay, so I'm already getting a feel for which one of these abilities I'm going to want to master and pull out of the given icon, because I can see myself wanting to switch to a fucking projectile counter drive at all times, because there's so much of that coming at me.
The counter moves are all absolutely unbelievably incredible. Like everybody that has one, it's like the best move on their fucking kit. Garuda's best move is free though, like the snatch when enemies hit half stagger.
Yeah,
and it like knocks them down for like 6-7 seconds. You do gouge on gouge on that, and you knock them down to like 10%.
It's like, quite, yeah, and then you have a move to drop right on the stagger or half stagger, which is just a flurry of attacks. Exactly. I kind of liked using the stagger as an opportunity to run like a style combo. It is suboptimal because if it involves jumps and shit, then you're not really getting all the maximum damage you can. But I just like practicing getting my air combos off and launchers and shit like that.
So hey, have you figured out the way the stagger multiplier works?
So what I learned was, I believe, once you each icon is going to do like Garuda does more will damage than actual damage.
Yeah, she staggers more easily than real damage. Yeah,
and then once you are in stagger state, the combo multiplier adds damage to whatever you're doing. So the higher up the combo you are, the more the next hit's gonna hurt. So you should do a lot of
reverse combo scaling.
So you should do a lot of flurries really early on, and then your last hit should be the big ones.
Yeah, okay, that's the trick. It's just that took me longer than it might have to figure out, because I was using the big single hits at the very beginning, and then finishing them off. I'm like, no, I should do it in the reverse.
Reverse combo scaling is an interesting decision.
Like the combo's getting stronger the more you're doing it. Just do it more.
End it big. So that means I'm like, okay, switch to Garuda right away, and then switch back over and do your big hits.
The feeling of that game from like 1 icon to 2 is fantastic, and then the feeling of going from 2 to 3 feels like, oh right, now I have the system.
So
right?
Yeah, there was a moment in that early in that Garuda zone where something I realized, I'm like, okay, we always talk about loving the duel. Everyone knows me. I love the duel, the one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
Here's something that excites me just as much, if not more so.
What's that?
The 2-on-2.
Yeah, the 2-on-2 is good.
Where I'm like, I don't like me and Pupper and Sid versus the mob is fine, and I appreciate the support. He's calling down lightning. He's doing his thing. But Sid, you take the dragon, I'll take the dragoon. and we're doing it.
It feels good, right?
And then you're like, this enemy is going to fully occupy my time, but if I wanted to switch attention, I can, and we can go that way too. That is awesome. I really like that. The dedicated 2-on-2 is fucking fire.
I'm in a very strange place with that game. So you've gotten many side quests yet?
Yeah, go deliver the Browns.
Yeah, just whatever,
You know,
right?
go fucking get wood. Go.
So
help
I don't know if you read
plants.
Gene's review, but he complained that the side quests are like really bad.
Mm.
I started skipping them last night.
Oh,
Like walking up to them and people starting to talk, and I hit start and
Jesus.
held triangle to skip them. And it's a really specific thing that I'm not sure if you have experience with, but so people refer to them as MMO quests, right? Because they're like overwhelmingly, here's my sob story. Go to kill 5 goblins or get 5 whatever. Go back. Here's the rest of my story. It's so sad, right? The thing is that an MMO quest isn't voice acted. So what do? You talk to the person, you see the text, and you go bop, 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 bop. Then you go and do it, and you come back, and you go bop, bop. Maybe there's a camera change, but like it rolls. These are like all voice acted and
not
like
completely
acted.
though. They do the first line and then leave off the second.
No, so all side content is completely voice acted, but the weird things when you talk to people at your hideaway, those are insanely weirdly like half voice acted. I don't know why that's the only thing in the game that's like that.
Odd.
But so I got to this point where like somebody's like, "Oh my god, my sisters, they're so sad, blah blah blah," right? You blah, and like I'm like tapping through the dialogue, and it took me like 2 minutes.
Wow.
And then I went and killed the goblin, and then I came back, and then a lame camera pan started happening as I'm tapping through the dialogue. It took multiple minutes again. And I hit the point of like, I'm not emotionally invested in this, but this side quest, given all the space that it wants to occupy like 12 minutes of my time, despite the fact that I fought 5 goblin.
My understanding is that the rewards are immensely worth it in some of those cases. No. Okay. I was told the opposite.
So some quests reward you extraordinarily. So any quest that has a plus as its icon instead of an exclamation point will give you some kind of upgrade that is like game altering. So like, oh, your healing items heal you for more. Is a good example, right? Something like that. But the ones that are just a plus, they give you about as much XP as 2 random battles. Usually no AP, like 100 gil, and a bunch of crafting materials that you already have tens of thousands of.
Okay.
And as I'm almost near the level cap now. I'm near the end of the game. I'm level 42, right? The side quests are all numerically balanced on the assumption that this is the first side quest you have done in the game. So like the side quests that are unlocking for me right now, level 42, I'm fighting enemies that are level like 35.
Okay.
And it is like by the time like this is the difficulty thing again. The side content is now so trivial that I am like rotating through my buttons and evaporating like entire encounters
And getting 20 wire right for the trouble.
Still like 20 wire right for the trouble.
Yeah.
So there was the one that broke me and that caused me to start skipping was actually like, you know, like there's cutscenes that have voice acting in this game, but then there's cutscenes that have directing as well as voice acting where the camera moves. So there's one of those in which we have to defend a town, boys, but how will we get the townspeople to rise up and help defend that they're so downtrodden, you know, that kind of thing. And it's talking with this guy, it's your buddy, and you're talking with the villagers, and you have to go and talk to the villagers and all this, and it's like a hugely involved thing. And then 3 enemy waves came in, and I hit 2 buttons each on the enemy wave, and then I was waiting for the boss to show up, and then I killed the last enemy, and it did the slowdown that meant the fight was over. And then it went into like wow, we really learned. And I'm like, what? It? Like, the gameplay to fluff ratio on it was like 90%. Sorry, it was like 10%.
Okay.
And the biggest frustration is that the further you go, all side quests are unlocked by main quest progression. But each main quest progression unlocks more side quests. So every time I get to a next main quest, so like first time it was like, oh, 2 side quests have unlocked. Oh, 4 have unlocked. I'm now at the part where main quest progression unlocks like 10 at once. And they're terrible.
Right, slow you down. Yeah.
And they're terrible. I also had a really strange moment where so you unlock hunts. I think I mentioned that. I don't think you have them unlocked yet.
No.
But you unlock S rank hunts, which are the game's super bosses. And at one point you unlock one and it's like level capped, and you unlock it when you're like level 35. And I fought it and I beat it in 2 tries. And I was then informed by multiple people who have beaten the game that, like, that is absolutely the hardest enemy in the entire game.
Yeah.
Like bar none. Like the remaining dominant fights are like easy peasy comparison. And I'm like, I just staggered it and rotated through my fucking abilities. Like, I just iced it. Clive is so strong. I can't even explain to you how strong Clive gets. Like, the version of Snatch you have is the best version of Snatch that exists. It's better than Nero's.
So
because Nero's Snatch can't stagger enemies.
Drag you down at 50%, yeah. So basically, to resume the difficulty conversation from last time a little bit here, it sounds like. Although, compelling side quests. I mean, do you get rewards by going through the arcade mode? In the Arret Stone?
I think you just get the XP and AP that you would from those.
Okay.
I'm not certain though. I haven't done it.
Yeah.
Like Clive in my game right now, Clive is stronger than Dante has ever been in terms of like what he can do in terms of character action, and I'm dealing with like enemies that belong in like a Dynasty Warrior game.
I'm trying to think of like, I mean, side quests are never good, but you just kind of hope they're inoffensive in a lot of cases, and or if you want to go not that they're never good, but like in Yakuza, they're the main point, right? The side quests are the best part.
Witcher 3 side quests were the best
right.
part.
There are games that are built around the idea of the side quest being like more hilarious than the main one. There's a lot of games where side quests are very ignorable. And
like Final Fantasy 14.
Okay, right. MMO.
They're so ignorable.
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about like how I appreciate the way it kind of goes down in Souls games to some degree, because it's like nothing really feels like a side quest, even though it really clearly is. It's just like it's a path towards some shit that you can get or just not get.
Yeah.
If you're interested in the results of this thing, but you have to like do it piece by piece throughout the entire game. So like it's not like go talk to a random person, go kill the mob, come back and get the reward, as much as it is like this person you'll encounter as you go on is there on their own timeline, and as you save them or whatever, you know, and like the obscureness of how people can be killed and die in that case is sometimes way too fucking brutal. And we've talked about how the whole Siegmeyer stuff goes down and so on. But the idea at the very least of like, I'm not walking up to a random person in need and not being invested in what's going on here, versus like, oh hey, it's you, hey, what's up, you're on your own thing at the same time as me, what are you doing out here, oh you got your own, okay cool. Like that sort of parallel journey NPC is what I mean to say, like, feels a lot more that. Like, yeah, that's a more engaging, fun way to have side content in your story than it is to just, like, you know, go pick up wood and deliver it to the woodsman that can't get the wood, you know?
I'm walking away from the side quests going like, I'm shocked. Like Gene was in my chat when we were talking about it. I'm shocked he didn't dock the game harder for how bad the side quests are. I think actually everyone like kind of undersold it, and I think maybe the reason I feel that strongly is because I have played FF14, in which I've dealt with these exact side quests before, but they weren't voice acted, so I got through them way faster. Right? Like I got through them way faster in 14.
Yeah, I mean, the word that's been used for the last couple of weeks, I guess, is just busy work, and I'm never gonna like busy work in any video game I play. I'm never gonna enjoy it because it's gonna feel like the time that the design has decided we need to slow things down, and
I might have hit the most frustrating thing I've ever heard streaming a game, which is like, okay, you know what, guys? I'm done. I'm not going to do the side quests on camera anymore. All right, we're going to skip all the remainder, only to be told, yeah, Pat, actually, the last batch of side quests all have to do with the main characters of the game, and they're all money acted and they're the good ones.
Right. Yeah.
The last ones. The only ones I haven't done, the ones I was going to skip. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
I guess I'll just do them all anyway.
That's the other thing I kind of heard was that, like, hey, it might help to just, like, here's a list of the ones that matter, and here's a list of the ones that don't, you know? So
yeah, but the ones that matter are at the end of chains.
you gotta get to them.
Okay. I will say one thing. There's a Bloody Palace like trial thing in the game. You might have already found one, depending. One for each icon. It's like you can only use that icon, and you have to fight like waves of enemies under a timer.
Oh, cool.
It's the best thing in the whole game.
Nice.
It's like, because they force you to use certain skills. They go, like the Phoenix one. They're like, you're walking into this one with the uppercut and heat wave, and that's what you're gonna have to use for these enemies. And you get graded by like how much time you have left, and certain moves add more time. It's the best thing in the whole game.
Style challenges, yeah.
If you do them the instant they unlock.
Don't wait. Okay.
Because your level counts inside them.
So things scale?
No, they don't. So, like, as I got stronger, the ones that I found were comparatively easier.
And the pattern continues.
Like, the most fun I've had in this game is fighting a optional boss at 15 levels below what I'm supposed to be at with the weakest gear I have.
Well, I mean, all I can say, I guess, is based on the feedback from last time the difficulty discussion came up, it seems like not a lot of people are finding, or rather, a lot of people are finding it's challenging enough without the, I guess, character action experience, and some that do have character action experience are also like, I don't know, I struggled a couple times, so, you know, it seems to be landing in a place that is, like, challenging most people.
So
right?
I was talking, there was a great thread last week when we talked about it. There was a fantastic thread on the subreddit about it, and I think people brought up some fantastic points, and the two that really really stand out to me is Clive is a character with S tier solutions to C tier problems. Like his defensive abilities are like wildly overpowered for anything that actually exists in the game. Like they'd be overpowered. I mean this unironically. Some of the things you get as Clive would be overpowered in Devil May Cry 5.
Right. If you had harder challenges, yeah.
But the other thing is like the game offers like such a wide variety of accessibility options to help you with the difficulty, and has a really impressive, exhaustive training mode function. That I'm like, the expectation is that there'll be stuff that
goes the other
comes
direction.
At you, right? And like there isn't.
or like the opposite of, or that there would be comprehensive anti-accessibility in the form of adding
Right, yeah.
difficulty. Right? We need to push anti-accessibility, not to say that there shouldn't be accessibility, but there should be extra modifiers to make your life a living hell.
And like the game does have harder difficulties. You beat the game, you unlock Final Fantasy mode, and you beat and then hidden in arcade mode. There's the third harder difficulty that's only available in the arcade mode, and they do things like turn enemy aggressiveness up, and I'm like, that I should have been. It feels like the conversation we had when DMC5 came out. It's like we should have been able to pick Son of Sparta from
Right out
the
of the
fucking
gate.
get-go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I guess we'll see once you hit the new game plus. But anyway,
I don't think I'm gonna do New Game Plus on this one. The way that you like, it's one
Final
of those things
Fantasy
like
mode.
you know how New Game Plus is supposed to be like, oh, we increased the enemy difficulty, right? But you got to keep all your stuff. As a result, apparently it's like not harder at all because you have all your busted shit from the get-go.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's a part that I like early Devil May Cry. I feel like I've forgotten like the fact that like, oh, you don't have your move set. You're you know, like I remember like at the start of like many times it'd be like, oh yeah, like I just cannot.
You don't have shit.
I cannot do combos at all. You know, for a minute, you're like, oh, that brings a challenge in where yeah, right now I want to fucking, you know,
I want to trick to this guy, but I can't. I don't have trick.
Literally can't. Yeah. So, okay.
You know, I think you know what your example is fantastic because Clive's first button is trick, right? Like the Phoenix Dash. It's like starting Devil May Cry 3 with the full Dante moveset, and then you just keep getting more on top of it. Like
then moves out of trick are amplified.
Like
Yeah.
it makes me like super sad because like, man, you could throw crazy stuff at this character and they'd be able to deal with it, but they won't.
I could see there being a DLC that's like go fuck yourself difficulty.
So
know?
again, there is the third evil difficulty, which turns it like kind of into an action game, but it's hidden in the arcade mode. You can't actually play the game like it. It's only replaying the arcade stages, and you have to re-unlock all the stages in Final Fantasy mode. So in order to play the game on the hardest difficulty, you have to beat it twice.
In Final Fantasy mode, I see.
Yeah, you have to beat the whole thing again in Final Fantasy mode.
Okay.